I am Jeff Strauser. I am coach of JHS Bass Fishing Team. We're going into our 4th season here. It's just been crazy blessing after crazy blessing to get us to this point. We got about 22 anglers this year, so that's going to give us about 11 teams, and we're just really excited to get started. And today kicked it off. Today was the first day of practice. We're in Lake Fieldhouse here at the beautiful JHS High School. We're just very happy that we've got the support of the administration and everybody that is part of our school program here that helps us out, that gives us the opportunity to use a great facility like this to get our kids in here and learning the basics and getting a casting down, knot tying, and we'll get into electronics, and we'll get into the strategy behind patterning the bass and all that kind of stuff as we move forward. So today went pretty well. We got a good bit of our team out and got them in here. We started right off with the basics with the knot tying. We looked at a couple videos from a couple of coaches that are pretty successful on about how to structure and how to try to get an organization together. Trying to really capitalize on the momentum that we had last year. The first year we started just very basic, just kind of found our way in. We had 2 outstanding anglers in Landon Camp and Hunter Sites that had qualified for nationals. Olivia Stacy and Lenora Fornash got a top 10. They were 7th in the state that first year. And from then on, it's just been, we kind of rode on that wave of success that those teams early had. And we've just been building each year. We had a great year last year at Oklahoma on Grand Lake, and we put a lot together. Really started to come together as a team here in year 3 and getting people working together. So that's what we hope to build on this year and keep going from where we're at. I would say what I'm most looking forward to this season is we got a pretty big wave of freshmen and sophomores that are kind of new coming in and taking the kids. We had 6 teams out to Grand Lake at the World Finals last year, and 2 of those guys graduated and went on to fish with the Rio Grande Red Storm, and the rest of them are back. So we've got a great nucleus to come back to bring some leadership and be able to really help these young anglers start to learn what it takes to not only compete here in our own state and for our state title, but on the world stage with some of the best high school anglers that there happens to be on the planet right now. So I'm really looking forward to building off of that momentum that we picked up and the things that we've learned. And each year we always try to get a little bit better, try to get more organized, try to create more opportunities for our anglers, and that's what we're trying to do and really make it work for them. Really what we look for is someone who has a passion for fishing, who is willing to learn and wants to get better, wants to improve. We kind of talked about 3 things that are super important. No one's going to hand you anything. Your talent may get you considered, but your attendance, your ability to listen, and then your ability to take what you've heard and go do that is really what we're looking for. So kids that are willing to do that, that have a passion for the outdoors, or just have a natural ability, or even kids that just have some curiosity. In years past, we've had some people that have never caught a fish until they came out for our team, and we've gone all the way to have kids go fish collegiately. We've had 5 anglers that's gone on from our program to fish at the collegiate level. So it's really about that willingness and the ability to want to make things better and to get better themselves is really what we're looking for. All right, today what we started with is we started with some of the motivational stuff, trying to kind of get them in the right headspace, kind of get them back to the fact that, hey, look, we learned last year at Grand Lake in Oklahoma that one of our strengths, especially within our state, when we take the majority, we've got 10 teams or 11 teams this year that's probably going to be competing at the state, and we'll probably by 5 or 6 teams have more than any other. So that is one of the things that's a big advantage for us, and trying to help them understand how to use that advantage, which is going to be, sharing some ideas, sharing some thoughts, being able to talk about what you've done, what you've learned, what you've studied, things that, make you be successful, and understand that since it is a team situation here, that when you talk about that to somebody else, number 1, you're helping them. Number 2, you're going to make them a lot more willing to do the same for you. For an example, like out at Grand Lake last year, we had some anglers, we'll just throw some times out there from the start of the tournament to about 9 o'clock. We're just catching all their fish, and then their bite would die off. We had other kids from about 9 to noon that did really well, and then some that did from 12 all the way to the end of the tournament. And when we realized that we could get together, we could talk and share that helped everybody start being able to have a chance to catch fish all throughout the day. And so that's what we're looking for is, getting some knowledge, sharing that knowledge, representing not only themselves well, our team well, our school well, but also all the sponsors that we have. We're going to have close to 30 sponsors again on our jersey this year. And the amazing community support that we've had in Jackson is probably unparalleled almost everywhere. When we go and we talk to people, they're just blown away with the sponsors that have come on board and that have been willing to help, and in all kinds of different ways, from helping feed us while we're on a 7-day, World Finals trip, to providing us scales, even a boat, a trailer, all the equipment that we could think of that we need to give our young anglers the opportunity to learn on all kinds of different things that maybe they wouldn't have. Sometimes we have kids that never fished off of a boat before. And every tournament that we fish, they're going to have to fish out of a boat. So that's a learning experience for some of them. And, when you give students the opportunity to see that what they put into something has a direct result in the benefits that they pull out, it's a very eye-opening experience for some of these kids in this, 9 through 12 age range. And when they do that and they get some of that success to start with, they really kind of open up to watch kids. Last set of kids we had go to college, Colson Oyer and Gabe Taylor. Their sophomore year, they came out, it was the first year they could fish, and they weighed in one fish the entire tournament season. And they sat down and they said, listen, we'd really like to do better at this. So they took some of the principles that we had taught them, they started practicing, they started really working hard, researching, searching out things, talking to each other, talking to the other anglers on the team, and trying everything they could do to get better. And when they graduated as not only national championship qualifiers for us and had a shot to win a national title, but they also got scholarships, and now they're finishing at the collegiate level. So, providing that opportunity and, giving these kids the opportunity to grow, and they can look back and see, hey, this is where I started, and look at where I'm at now. It really, I think it's going to help them a lot in life. I want to thank Stellar Films and Dakota Dunn and the whole crew, because they do the live streams. They're going to help us with this series. They helped us with the documentary, and it gives these kids the opportunity to show what they've learned, to speak in front of a camera, to speak in front of crowds, to learn that it's not that bad, that they can do it, and have a strong belief, and really helps their confidence. And it's just going to help them move forward whether they continue fishing or not in whatever it is they do. Under control, super soft. You're not trying to get out there in a hurry. You only got 5 shots. You're supposed to go black line, red line. That counts. If you hit the edge of the bucket, it counts. Try to make that not having a defender on there for you. There we go. Consistency. We're going to need to be able to hit that bucket about 5 out of 5 from where you're at. You don't hit it in 5, you go. I saw that. Your fish does not count.
Not for the sports card or anything?
No. Those are just practice
I
tournaments.
got another petition. Is there any way, we could do the Borough tournament on Friday?
And miss school?
I'm Brady Daly. I'm a senior this year, and I'm excited for the year. I'm excited because last year me and my partner Wes Clegg did pretty good, so we're hoping to keep that streak going and keep that hot streak going and keep doing it good this year. Obviously to improve, just get better every year. I mean, that's the goal, and just win every tournament, so that's the goal. And do get better at nationals than last year and catch big fish. Oklahoma made me approach the season differently. It made me try to think more about how I can improve on not just the day that I was, but how I can get better the next day and use different baits different ways, and to utilize practice days and stuff like that. Competing at the national level was definitely a different experience, and these local tournaments, it was huge. There's so many more people there, and it's just a bigger environment with a lot more people and a lot more on the line. Most surprising thing I learned at Nationals last year was just how much you improve each day. One day, the first day we went out there, we studied a little bit. We were kind of clueless on where to go, but we studied up and we just kept talking. Me and my teammate communicated, and we realized how much communicating can help improve our catching fish. Representing the school on a bigger stage is huge for me. I like being able to get Jackson out there and Ohio out there in these fishing tournaments, because Ohio is not real well known for fishing. So getting it out there and getting that name and brand and just Jackson's brand out there, it just is nice. Just do what Jeff says. Sometimes you feel like it's not going to help or you don't want to do it, but it definitely helps, and it definitely helps you improve.
I'm Wes Clegg. I'm a senior. My goals for this season are basically to do the same thing that we did last year and to be able to improve and place higher in nationals. Oklahoma really opened our eyes to not everything that we plan is going to work. Last year kind of everything went our way, and we realized that the changes that we made, we need to trust in ourselves, and whatever we make is going to happen to get something done. Like last year when we were in Oklahoma, we chose to stay at a point the whole entire day. We didn't catch anything big until the last couple minutes, and then that kind of turned out to be our biggest bag. Competing at the national level last year was amazing. It opened my eyes to how many people actually love this sport. It's not just something that this small town does that everybody does even though not very many people do it. About the same thing that I answered last time, the most surprising thing that I learned was how many people actually do love this sport, how many young people like us actually do compete in it. And another surprising thing is just, the competitiveness in the sport. I don't really have much, just go have fun and just be able to love what you're doing all the way through it.
My name is Nick Saunders, and I'm in 12th grade. My goals for this fishing season is to advance to nationals and actually qualify for it. The past years, I've just went for the World Finals. I'd like to go to nationals for the first time as my last year. There's going to be a lot more people this year in our circuit, so I'm expecting more boats, how it's going to be, and strategize a little better against them. It's pretty cool fish against all those people, Here I fish local tournaments with my dad, and, it's only 10 to 15 boats, and seeing all those boats out there and doubling their population of that whole city then is pretty cool. Showing up and having so many people represent our name, the Ironman, it's just an honor, really. We're going to do some great things this year, and if anyone's interested in fishing, the younger generation, Strauser's an amazing coach, and he'll teach you well.
My name's Olivia Stacy, and I'm a senior on the JHS bass fishing team. My goals for this season are to enjoy it and hopefully to do the best I've done so far, because it is my last year and I want to make the most of it. Oklahoma gave me a bigger picture of what it is and how much it can get me and the places I can go with it. So it's definitely made it more of a serious thing for me. Competing at the national level was nerve-wracking, but it was really, really fun. I think it showed me how many people are behind it, and it's not just a couple teams down here. Oklahoma really changed how I was gonna approach this season. It made it more of a serious thing for me. At first it was just this is fun, I get to go out, I get to fish in tournaments. It's now more of I can get scholarships for this, I can go to college paid. The most surprising thing about World Finals was just how many people showed up that weren't anglers or boat captains. There were so many family members and supporters from so many different places. It was just, you could see all of the different support groups. It was awesome. Being able to represent my school on a big stage like that, it's a lot. It's a really amazing opportunity to be able to represent my school on that level. A lot of people don't realize how big it can get and how big it is. My advice for incoming anglers is have fun, focus on what you're doing, and make friends. You need to have people you can talk to when you're at the big tournaments. You want to be able to say, hey, I was thinking about using this. What are your thoughts? Where are you going to go? It's all about who you can talk to and who you have to talk to.
Why do I do what I do? Well, as a young kid, I grew up back in the old days. We got to watch Bassmasters about once every week or so in the summer. And is one of those things I was very intrigued in. I've always loved the outdoors. I've always loved fishing. And I knew going into college that I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to help people get better. And it's the two biggest passions that I really have, you know, wanting to help people get better, to learn more, to help them understand themselves a little bit better and to reach potential that, you know, they didn't even realize they had. And combine that with my intestinal fortitude with wanting to fish and you know, kind of being one of those fishermen. You know, Jesus picked a lot of fishermen because they're very, very determined, and they will be consistent, and you know, they will try as hard as they can, and that's what I do. And I just, you know, I really get a sense of a lot of accomplishment out of helping these kids learn new techniques and get better and become better speakers and, you know, represent themselves on a level that they maybe didn't think they could do, and overcome the fear of speaking in public, and just hoping to open doors for them. So, you know, that's really why I do what I do. I mean, this team has just been blessed with a lot of favor, and like I said, the community that we're growing up in, this Jackson community, and all the sponsors and all the people that have helped us do these things are just tremendous. And it's just like, I feel like this is my true calling, and this is the things, you know, people have just, everything lines up, and, you know, we try to do and honor God and do what we can and just try to fall into that favor and keep consistent at it. Do things the right way, teach them the ethical way to do everything from fish management all the way through. One of my proudest moments at Grand Lake in Oklahoma, a team had a chance to come and weigh in a limit on the last day, and they could do it. Water was really rough. They had run through a lot of choppy water. They didn't have enough weight to make it into the finals, and they knew that. And when they stopped to look at the fish, to check on them, to make sure they was doing okay, they were getting to a point where they needed to be released so they would survive. And so they made the decision between the two of them, hey, let's go ahead and do this, because this is the right thing to do. We know we're not going to win. They're not doing it for the glory. They didn't get to go in there and weigh in their fish, but they know deep down inside, you know, that they did that. And Cohen Oyer and Michael Stevens, you know, gave me a great sense of we're doing the right thing. When you have kids that have that kind of heart, that kind of character that will do those things, that's exactly what you're trying to do. You know, they're going to be two very fine young men, and I'm just thankful we get to be a part of their process and, you know, development. And it just, you know, they're just great kids, and that's what we want to try to bring in. You know, another thing we look at in our anglers, we want to try to get kids that are humble and willing to work and willing to grow, and that they will do the right thing. So that's kind of why I do what I do.